Write the number 3,107 in figures. 3,107. Write 3 over 10 as a percentage, so it needs to be over 100 to be a percent. So we times by 10, so it's 30%. Simplify, we are adding, so there is 4 of them, 4m. Change 4,000 grams into kilograms, so we divide by 1,000 and we get 4 kilograms. Write these numbers in order of size, start with the smallest. So that's -5, -2, 3, 7 and 9. The diagram shows a shape on the centimetre grid. Find the area. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Find the perimeter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Here's a 4-sided spinner. Samina spins the spinner once. Choose the word that best describes the probability that it lands on a 2. Well, there are 2 of those, so it is going to be even. Choose a word that best describes the probability the spinner lands on a number less than 4. Well, they are all less than 4, so that is certain. Ralph rolls a biased dice once. The probability that he gets the number 5 is 0.4. Work out the probability he does not get the number 5. So that's going to be 1, take away 0.4, which is 0.6. A quadrilateral has 4 right angles and 4 sides of equal length. Write down the mathematical name for this quadrilateral. That would be a square. What is the mathematical name for this shape? It is a cuboid. The table shows the number of books read by 4 people in 1 month. Work out the median. So the median is the middle. So if I put these numbers in order, 1, 5, 7, 9. It's going to be halfway between 5 and 7, which is 6. Find the range. The biggest, take away the smallest. So the answer is 8. On the grid, draw a bar chart to show the information. So we need to make sure we label the sides. So this is going to be the number of books. And down here, we're going to have the people. So I'm going to do 1 for X, 1 for M, 1 for K, and 1 for tabby T. X is 7, so let's put these numbers in. So that's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. She goes up to 7. Now you would use a ruler for yours. Martha goes up to 9. Kezia goes up to 1. And Tabby goes up to 5. Question 10. Wayne begins walking at 8:30. He walks for 1 hour 45 minutes. Wayne then rests for 15 minutes. So let's put a timeline in here. So we're going to start at 8:30. We're going to walk for 1 hour 45 minutes. So adding on 1 hour will take us to 9 o'clock, 9:30. Adding on the 45 minutes from there would take us to 10:15. He's then going to rest for 15 minutes. So that's going to take you to 10:30. He then walks for 85 minutes. Well, 85 minutes is 60 minutes in an hour. That's going to be 1 hour and 25 minutes. So we're going to add on 1 hour, will take us to 11:30. And then add on 20 minutes, will take us to 11:55. So does he get there before noon? Yes. Gabriel thinks of a number. He multiplies this number. So we don't know what his number is. He's going to multiply the number by 5 and then add 7. And his answer is 72. Let's work this backwards. 72 take away 7 leaves us with 65. 65 divided by 5 gives us 13. So his answer is 13. Question 12. Some students took a guitar exam. The pie chart shows the information on the grades the students get. Write down the modal grade. So the mode is the one that appears the most, so that is a merit. 7 students got a distinction. Now we can see 7 is 105 degrees. So 7 students equals 105 degrees. Then 1 student would be 105 divided by 7, which equals 15 degrees. Now to find out the total number of students, we would need to do 360 degrees divided by 15, which gives us 24. So there were 24 students in total. Rowena drove from her home to the beach. Here's a travel graph for her journey. She stopped at a cafe on the way to the beach. How many minutes did Rowena take to drive to the cafe? So here is where she stopped. This is 1 o'clock, this is 12 o'clock, so that must be 12:30. So she took 30 minutes. Write down the distance from her home to the cafe. So if we look on here, the distance is 10 miles. Rowena stayed at the beach for 1.5 hours. She then drove home without stopping. So if she's going to stay there for 1.5 hours, we need to take this to 3 o'clock. And then she's going to drive home without stopping. And she arrived home at 4 o'clock, at 1600. So then with a ruler, not like me, you're going to draw a line that goes down there. On the grid to complete the travel graph, we've done it. Work out the speed. So we know speed is distance divided by time. We know the distance was 35 and the time was 1. So she drove at 35 miles per hour. Question 14. 120 boxes cost £6. 270 bags cost £10. A bag is cheaper than a box. How much? So for the boxes, we had 6 divided by 120, which gave us 0.05. For the bags, we had 10 divided by 270, and that gave us 0.037. Now, how much cheaper it's asking us? So 0.05 minus 0.037 gives us 0.013. So the answer is in pence, so it's going to be 1.3 pence. There are only red beads and green beads in a bag. Number of red beads, the number of green beads is 1 to 4. Quick ratio box. We have red to green, 1 to 4. The total of our ratio is 5. Now we have 35 red, so that's going to go under there. So we're going to times everything by 35. And that's going to give you the answer of the total. 5 times 35 gives us 175. Describe fully the single transformation that maps shape A onto shape B. This is going to be rotation. You need to put your tracing paper over there, rotate it round to find out the point of rotation. So the answer would be rotation 90 degrees, and the point of rotation is 0, 0. The diagram shows the position of town T. Town R is 55 kilometres from town B on a bearing of 065. Mark the position of the town. So you would use your protractor, you would measure an angle here of 65, so it's going to be roughly here. And we know that the scale is 55, so we're going to mark that there. Use a scale of 1 centimetre to 10 kilometres. So if we want 55 kilometres, that would need to be 5.5 centimetres. Solve. So we're expanding brackets and then solving. So 4 times 2x is 8x minus 4 times 3 is 12 equals 20. I'm going to add 12 to both sides, which gives me 8x equals 32. I'm going to divide both sides by 8, gives me x is 4. Question 19. Jenny invests £3,000 for 6 years at Y simple interest. Simple interest. At the end of the 6 years, she's received £450. Work out the value of the interest. So we'll begin by doing 450 divided by 6, which gives us £75 each year. So what fraction of that interest, so 75 divided by 3,000, gives us the answer of 0.025. Now to convert that into a percent, we times by 100, and that gives us interest rate of 2.5. So indices rules, simplify m squared to the power of 3. Now with brackets we times, so that's going to be m to the 6. When we times, we add, so that's going to be x to the 13. Now we need to expand these, so we're going to do 4p times p squared gives me 4p to the power of 3, and 4p times 3p is going to give me 12p squared. Question 21. Johnny wants to know how much coffee he'll need for 800 people at a meeting. Each person who drinks coffee will drink 2 cups of coffee. 10.6 grams of coffee is needed for each cup. He assumes 68% of the people will drink the coffee. Work out the amount of coffee Johnny needs. Now we will begin by doing 68% of 800 to find out how many people are going to be drinking coffee, and that's 544. We're then going to multiply 544 by 2 cups per person, and also by 10.6 grams of coffee for each cup. That gives us 11,532.8. Now the question says correct to the nearest gram, so I'm going to round that up, 11533. Johnny's assumption is wrong. 72% of the people drink coffee. How will this affect your answer? He will need more coffee. Question 22. Show that triangle ACD is an isosceles. Give a reason for each stage. We can see this angle here is 110. So to work out this one here, we're going to say 180 degrees minus 110 degrees equals 70 degrees. So this one here is 70. Because angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. So it does say give a reason. Angles on a straight line Next, we know that co-interior angles, these two here, must add up to 180. So if we look at that one next, so 180 degrees minus 125 degrees gives me 55 degrees, because co-interior angles add to 180. So this one here must be 55. We then know that opposite angles are equal. So this one here must be 55. We then know that angles in a triangle add to 180. So we have 180 minus 55 minus 70 gives me 55. So this one is 55. So because we have two angles that are the same, it is an isosceles. Question 23. It takes 14 hours for 5 identical pumps to fill a water tank. How many hours will it take 4 of these pumps? So 14 hours equals 5 pumps. And we want to know how long it would take 4 pumps. So let's put 1 in the middle. So what would we do to get from 5 to 1? We would divide by 5. We would then times by 4. Now this is inverse proportion, so we're doing the opposite. So on this side, we're going to times by 5 and divide by 4. And if we do that, we get the answer 17.5. A and B are numbers such that A is 2 squared times 3 to the power of 4 times 7, and B is 3 squared times 7 squared. Let's put the highest common factor of A and B. So if we do our Venn diagram, What have they got in common? Here's going to be A, here's going to be B. What have they got in common? They have both got, I can take out 2 3s here, so I'm going to leave 3 to the 2, I'm going to get rid of that. So 3 to the 2 is going to come out. I can take out 1 7. So I've got 3 squared and 7 in the middle. What's left to go in B? The 7. And I've got left for A, 2 squared. So remember, the highest common factor, we multiply at the middle bit. So that's going to be 3 squared times 7, which is 63. Now then it says find the lowest common multiple. Remember, lowest common multiple is multiplying all 3. So we're going to times all of those numbers, 2 squared times 3 squared times 7, and that gives us the answer 15,876. Question 25. Lava flows from a volcano at a constant rate of 11.9 meters cubed per second. How many days does it take for that amount of lava to flow from the volcano? So first of all, we're going to find the total time it takes in seconds. So that's going to be 67205,600 divided by 11.9. And that gives me 5647529.412. Now, that was in seconds and we need to convert to days. So to do that, we've got that number there and we're going to times that by 1 day, which to convert to a day is going to be 24 hours in a day, 60 minutes in an hour, and 60 seconds in a minute. If I put that all into my calculator, I get the answer 65.3 days, and it does say to the nearest day, so that's going to be 65 days. Here is a graph. Write down the coordinates of the turning point. So the turning point is here at its lowest point, so that's going to be 1 minus 3. Write down an estimate for the roots of the solution. So it equals 0, so it's where it crosses on the axis. Now that's going to be 2.7. I only want one of the roots, so I'm going to put the positive one, 2.7. A solid cuboid is made of metal. The metal has a density of 9 and a volume of the cuboid is 72. So my density, mass, volume, the density is 9, the volume is 72. So to find the mass, I'm going to do 9 times 72, which is 648. Write this in the form 1 to n. So if I put that in my calculator, 28, write this ratio in the form 1 to n. So I want this to be 1 and this can be any number. So to get from this one to this one, I'm going to divide by 9 times 10 to the 4. So to find n, I'm going to do 4.5 times 10 to the 6 divided by 9 times 10 to the 4. And I get the answer 0.5 times 10 to the 2, which if I did that, took away this standard form, that would give me the answer 50. So my answer is 1 to 50. Write down the following numbers in order of size, starting with the smallest. Now, these are not all in standard form, so you cannot just look at the numbers. You need to convert them all into normal numbers. So we've got 56250. This is already done. This would be 56.25. This would be 562.5. So the smallest one is going to be 56250 times 10 to the minus 3. Then we're going to have 0.005625 times 10 to the 5. Then we're going to have 5,625. And lastly, we would have 5.625 times 10 to the 4.